Hello. Hello and welcome to Mostly Off Topic. Playing Laughter of Dragons for the One Ring First Edition, because Second Edition isn't out yet. That's the doorbell again.
That's Second Edition arriving.
Yeah. That'd be cool, wouldn't it? Right, guys, give us 10 minutes.
Like a pizza box.
We're gonna go. I am joined by the usual crew. Ben.
Hello.
Joe.
Hello.
Matt.
Good evening.
I like
Nice.
it.
Hello.
And we are back playing the One Ring. We skipped a session because of scheduling issues, my end. Can somebody answer the damn door? That's all I want.
Do you want me to get it?
If you don't mind, it'd be easier.
I'll be there in 10 to 15 minutes.
Give me 10.
Yeah. Laughter of Dragons, that's what we're doing. So we've had a little bit of a gap, blah, blah, blah. This is session 10, which makes it episode, like, maybe 19. An episode, in any case. So I guess first things first, spoilers for Laughter of Dragon. Is that still my doorbell going?
Yeah. Oh wow.
That is
They
Kenny.
really.
That's Kenny messing around.
Or a really impatient pizza boy.
After the tip. So spoilers for Laughter Dragons. So whether you are playing Laughter Dragons or your lore master is indicating you might be headed towards Dale or Erebor and maybe therefore incorporating some of the Laughter Dragons stuff, we are going to spoil it for you. Just the way it is. Said it. There. Better do it. We stick quite closely to the book because I'm slightly lazy and lacking in creativity. Therefore, that's what we're playing. But there we go. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for subscribing if you're in fact subscribed. We've seen a massive hike in subscribers. So I think it's probably worth us saying that when the second edition alpha rules are released, we will be playing them. We will absolutely be picking up the starter set and kind of running that as well, probably online. And it's also worth saying that this is just how we play the game. I know a lot of people have kind of like gone, oh, what's a good example of how the One Ring plays? Maybe we are, maybe we aren't. I kind of don't know, to be honest. We are not particularly experts in the One Ring, and we're just playing. We're just a gaming group playing the game. So hopefully that is good for you, basically. And we only record it because it's easy to do. But having said that, don't worry about hitting the like button because we like that. But there we go. I can't continue. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
Much better.
I like your new look, Paul.
It just irritates my forehead.
Have you recently bought a convertible and been driving around with a roof?
That's right. I've just got a bit of wind hair. And what's going to happen is as time moves on, it's just going to come down and get in my eyes. And then what will happen is I'll do that. And I look a little bit Christopher Walken at that point.
Oh, yeah.
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 There's
You know,
a bit
when it's up, you look more Australian.
Oh, okay. You'll be pleased to know that I have absolutely no ability to do an Australian accent, but that's not going to
Do
stop
your Welsh
me.
accent.
Guy, let's head down to the Barbie. There you go. Look at that. All the
Exactly
people.
what I sound like.
It's like the Australian hair and the accent just equal each other out.
That made your hair come down, actually. That accent.
All the people in Perth, Australia, are like, "Wow, that guy sounds exactly like somebody pretending to be Australian, but not doing a really good accent."
Also, they're just hitting the unsubscribe button.
Yeah, probably wise. What are we doing, guys? We're detracting. We're becoming characters of ourselves. So, last time on Laughter of Dragons, what happened? Fucking good question.
Has anyone checked if Doom Bunny's written us a synopsis?
I think he did. I think he suggests that you guys are screwed. So, essentially, you were meeting with Dwarlin and his brother Balin in the Mountain of Erebor. And there was talk of the coat of mail that had been given as a gift to Girion and his son, and had been buried with his son. Domi, the dwarven lawmaster, reckoned he knew where this was located and was kind of like intending to head off and get the artifact. Domi's room had there'd been attempted break-ins, there'd been rumours of orc kind of like activity trying to find it in Dale, kind of shady characters around the city kind of trying to understand what was going on. You had been called back as known friends of Domi and kind of like trusted people by the owners and barkeep of the barmaid of the Golden Sheaf. And through your investigations, you had learned of the three potential locations that Girion may have left this and that Domi was kind of likely to explore. Dwalin had challenged you as to what your intentions were, had spoken more about the dwarven treasures than the dwarf at risk, potentially. That kind of irked you a little bit. Balin kind of took you to the sacred site of the Arkenstone, and in the kind of dull glow of that most precious artifact, had spoken about some of the rifts between Erebor and Dale at this moment in time, to try to bridge the gap, to kind of go off, check that Domi was safe and well, and perhaps seek to recover this artifact. And as you were exiting Erebor, you were a messenger of the King Bard attended you and asked for your presence down at the palace, and you headed into this magnificent building in the centre of Dale, with its facade resplendent to promote the benefits to both the people of Dale and the dwarves under the mountain of the symbiotic relationship that existed between the two nations. Sirk, not having had his Snickers that day, was a little bit hangry, and was slightly affronted by the fact that it wasn't the King of Dale, it was one of his councillors, Thane Jofa, who, as I recall, had his hair across here and was rather pleased to see you all. And for whatever reasons you took umbrage to this lack of respect or whatever had been shown to you all, gave him the bird and left in a very public demonstration of not giving two hoots as to Thane Jofa and his representation of King Bard and so on and so forth. And then you headed the city through the northern Dalelands into the warm autumn, start of autumn, late summer, to the harvest out in the field. Lots of activity as they're bringing in the various crops that support the city of Dale, the grain that will eventually feed the whole of this area of Middle Earth. And you had made about a couple of days' journey to the north towards the Grey Mountain Narrows, and you just set camp with the withered heath and the Grey Mountain in front of you, and offsetting the kind of like golden red of the early evening sky as the sun dropped below the horizon was the dark ash-filled clouds of tempestuous grey that was slowly filtering from the withered heath, the home of numerous dragons, from which Smaug came to desolate these lands, and that hosts at least one active dragon that has threatened and is threatening the boundaries of Erebor and Dale. And your companions in arms that you were sworn to aid had set off on an exploratory expedition, as far as you're aware. But the withered heath is a vast, broad area in front of you, and as you kind of settle down with your rations, maybe think about what's happened and reflect on the activities. And Sirk takes his silver-threaded scabbard that contains his sword that once belonged to Longo. He reflects perhaps on the hasty words justified in his mind to Thane Jofa.
No regrets. YOLO.
And as he holds the the scabbard, he feels no regrets. No regrets at all.
Just remind me how we know that there is at least one dragon.
King Dane took you into his confidence after you were the heroes of the day in the great forge of Erebor, and he let you know that that was a threat to the north, and that as time comes, he may need people of your stature, your strength, and so on to aid that.
Okay. So this is probably quite a big moment, knowing that this is these are the lands where Smaug came from, and this is in between the Grey Mountains and Dale and Erebor. So I'm guessing we'll all be familiar with some of the kind of legends of the place.
Some of you have probably lived through the legends of the place. You can see off to your left, off to the west, the eaves of Mirkwood, the woodland realm, still protected by King Thranduil in this point, kind of occupying the whole of the northern horizon is the withered heath of the Grey Mountain, and you know that you're headed towards the small gap between the mountain and the edge of the forest. And you cannot travel through the northern Dalelands without having seen some of the scars that were wrought by the desolation of Smaug. Burned ruins of homesteads that have been largely scavenged for stone. Furrows of fields that seed just won't take because of the marks upon the land, and the deep clefts in some of the hills and the scars of the rock from the dragon fire that pressed upon it. You can't plough a field here without finding some remnants, some ash of a burned tree or a burned copse as part of the soil, and those who are ploughing the land count the family members and ancestors that were lost in the previous 100 years of Smaug's occupancy.
So do we know, because Loftar's mates were off to fight a cold drake, weren't they? And you promised our aid with that. Is this a different dragon, or is this potentially the same one? Or do we not know?
You kind of don't know really, but dragons they're not two a penny, so you would imagine that it's most likely on the balance of probabilities in your minds to be the same entity, though to what extent it's known about is another question for you.
And did Dane mention that it was a cold drake specifically, or it was just?
I can't recall. Somebody would have to run the tape. If I'm entirely honest.
Yeah, it was you, because it was. I wasn't. Sirk wasn't there, but my reaction in expecting you to come back and tell Sirk that you'd promised them aid in going to fight a cold drake was very much like, what?
But that, so what King Dane said was he just said there's a dragon, some kind of great worm.
I can't recall what he said, if I'm honest. But on the balance of
what the dragon looks like when we get to it in the book.
They're rare enough. It's likely to be the same. I think we'd be kind of surmising from that it's the same dragon.
Yeah, Dane wasn't saying there's a flock of dragons or there's a pair of dragons or anything along those lines coming down. So you would think on the balance of probability it's singular dragon. I mean, if our fandom was committed enough, they would the wiki that they would have created would. Just joking. Don't do that.
And
because that just makes my life harder because I like the inconsistencies.
Have you travelled these lands, Loftar? Withered Heath?
I can't say that I have extensively. I think any sane dwarf would just steer clear of these. I'm sure these mates of mine would want to go in here. I'll probably want to be a part of a bigger group. But we must not turn back. We have a mission ahead of us, I guess. But I am, yeah. To answer your question, I have some knowledge of the area. I think we may have in the past pursued some orc party or whatever a bit too far in these lands.
I think orcs will be the least of our worries, and of Domi as well.
Absolutely.
How large do we think his party might be? We have no idea, basically.
Yeah,
Three.
so he arrived in
Yep.
Dale with a couple of companions, and those companions kind of like hanged around Dale while he was there. You think that he left with those companions. Whether he picked up more people as he went through, you don't know.
So I think that we're close enough to start trying to look for signs of his trail.
Yeah, we should
And
search
that
for him.
should
For
be
sure.
our
Didn't
camp.
we get to a camp?
We're camped at the minute, are we not?
Yeah, we got to, but it was like it was where we camped where someone else had camped before.
Yeah, so you're in the Northern Dalelands, so you're in kind of like populated countryside.
So,
Yeah, so it's a rural. It's a
not necessarily-
rural. You know, if you think about
So
it,
not an unexpected camp then.
no. So you and you're traversing a well-travelled, if not road, at least a well-travelled path. It might not be a major thoroughfare, kind of like raised up, but you know, kind of if there's a copse with a slight rise that gives you a bit of shelter from the wind and the rain, the likelihood is people have camped there, even if it's a shepherd or what have you. There's quite a lot of people that you encounter on any given day, because there's a lot of people out in the fields in the harvest, labourers moving from farm to farm, kind of activity, and again, whilst you're perhaps an unusual group in that you're a small group of, you know, dwarves ready to go to war, that in and of itself is not unusual. You know, people will mind their business around you, but there's not like you walk. It's not like you walk into the cowboy saloon and the pianist stops playing, you know, kind of thing. It's not at all unusual for you. So picking up tracks of where Domi is at the moment would be quite hard, but the route that you would expect Domi to take to get to the Grey Mountain Narrows is the route you're taking.
So it's
Well,
more
that
that we
could
need to push on then, rather
That
than
gives me a better concept of the situation. So, should we maybe ask a few of the labourers who are passing up and down on the road if they have seen a dwarf or, you know, a small party of dwarves? Give them Domi's description.
Yeah. Okay. So
What do you think? We're kind of at the objective setting bit, I guess, aren't we?
yeah, that's right. I
Nearly.
always forget that part. So yeah.
So
So
we
what
wanna
would your
work on
objective
what
be
to do.
for this session?
probably get to where he was going.
Yeah, we'll find him, and yeah.
I would say find him.
What happened to him?
How far are we from the destination, the location that we're journeying to?
You think that you've probably got another 3, possibly 4 days travel.
Okay.
In fact, you
So
would
it's
say
doable.
You would say 4 days travel, because you kind of experienced enough adventurers to know that the Grey Mountain Narrows is going to not be as easy travel as the Northern Dalelands. And you know that there are a couple of in fact, you know that there are 3 possible locations that Domi narrowed the mithril shirt down to. A couple of them in the Grey Mountain Narrows, and one of them quite off into the waste. And you said, right, you know, the evidence was that he was at one of the ones in the Grey Mountain Narrows. So to get there, you think it's about 4 days travel. 4
Okay.
further days travel.
It
So we
seems
definitely-
reasonable to say
Get there and find him.
find Domi,
Yeah.
or evidence of his investigation
Demise.
at this location. Investigation of his, find what's left of him.
And if you were to find Dermy, or what would the intention be? You intending to ally with him to help him get the
Help him.
mail?
I think we value his overall quest, so not just this specific task he's doing, but his quest for deeper knowledge.
Aid him in completing what he sets out to do, and leave him then to decide what he does with that mail coat.
Yeah.
I don't. It's not ours unless we find him dead, and when we find it, I don't think it's our decision as to what we actually do with that. Certainly not after the kind of conflicting. Well, from Sirk's standpoint, he doesn't want to get involved in the politics, and that was hence the reaction. He's not a political animal, so he doesn't care who finds it. It's more the fact the honor is in the finding, not what's done with it next.
Torg's stance is that he would like to serve Balin, but he recognizes the division in the dwarves and the fact that Balin is kind of pandering to the powers in Dale, and that to him is an impurity, in his vision of what the dwarves are. So he would
cooler.
Yeah, although he didn't have a great first
No.
with Balin, I think he would be more inclined to help Domi.
That's pretty good. I mean, Loftar is, since we're on the subject, Loftar is just keen to be out for a little walk, kill some orc if we can. That's a bonus.
Loftar's like, we're looking for Domi? No one told me that.
Well, yeah, that's just a side quest we're here doing. We're doing.
If we find him, great. If we find him surrounded by orcs, even better.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
If we find him in the mouth of a dragon, brilliant.
Well, I wouldn't go that far, but yeah, we can try.
If we find him in the mouth of the dragon, and the dragon's got some good ale and maybe some gourmet food I've not tried yet, that is just like that's where it's at. Okay. So that discussion happens over as you're kind of like breaking camp in the morning, breaking your fast. It's a lovely autumnal. Yeah, get some cram in you. It's a lovely autumnal day. A little bit chilly, but quite bright. Got quite a promise of kind of like picking up as the day progresses on. No hint of rain or anything in the air, and you move on early in the day. You kind of like stop and question many of the groups who. Most of them are polite and respectful. Whatever the tensions there may have been back in the city of Dale don't seem to have spread much out into the countryside. So here it's very much respectful, not especially helpful because most of them don't know the answer to your question. But there's no animosity. There's no kind of like standing back. There's no hold on a minute. Dwarves are bad news out here. There's much more kind of the dwarves have helped found the city of Dale. Kind of let me get you some food. Do you need some replenished supplies? We're just doing the harvest now. Here's a few apples. Approach to you, and as kind of the day rolls across into the afternoon, you kind of meet up with a larger group that seem to have just been settled into gathering up the corn in this particular area. You get chatting to the farmer, to the lead, labourer, foreman style. Hey, aye, I remember. Old one, even by the measure of you lot. Didn't know his name. Stayed with the good wife. Just a couple of hamlets away, actually. Bit prestigious to have a dwarf of that nature with him. What does the want to know like? This is regional accent number 4.
He's very northern.
Aye, come from just
the
outside.
Northern Dalelands.
That's right. Yeah. That's right, lads, from Northern Dalelands. Aye.
Salt
Used
of
to
the
work down Pit, but King Bard closed them all. So now I've
what
had to
in Moria?
in Moria. That's right. Yeah, I used to work down Pit in Moria.
He delved too deep.
But it all got a little bit, a little bit carnage, like.
A little bit Balroggy.
Oh well, I didn't want to say. Anyway, back on track, like onto the topic. So then, what's the one to know, lads?
Our colleague
Fellas.
Domi was he alone?
Oh
Was
no, there was well, this is what caught my eye, to be honest. There was three dwarves, and there was four. I think there was four men with him. Well, actually, two of them were women, but men of people of Dale. And there was one fella who had a load of donkeys, quite extensive pack actually. I tell you what, I said to Master Dwarf, I said, there's often an expedition there. What's the digging for? Gold. Hey, I tell you, size plane. That's me. So there's quite an entourage, as I've been heard it said.
Yes, that's an impressive word.
I like it myself. I've been looking for an occasion to use it actually.
What do we call you, Farmer?
Cedric.
Farmer
Cedric. Aye, Cedric. Of the Langsett Cedrics.
I'm almost tempted to write down his name. Really,
it's got a whole backstory as Farmer Cedric. I mean, I've got.
I know.
I'm growing suspicious of Cedric of the Langsetts now. Is he?
Too well rounded. Too well thought out.
We need to investigate him.
Well,
just open a can of worms, I think.
If
the investigation's starting, Sirk sits down.
So back on track though.
How many days passed?
This is it was high summer. It was high summer. It was. So this is weeks ago. This is now. Let me think now. What we're in now? So it's now late September. It's September the 27th. In fact, I've just decided because I get to name time and this would have been like maybe 3 weeks ago. Maybe a bit longer than that. Maybe a month ago. About a month ago, I'd say.
And they stayed with you for just a night to rest.
Oh well, that's right. And they got a few more rations. I think impression I got, if I'm honest, is that it left it in a little bit hasty from Dale, because I would have thought that it would have had a lot more gear, and it looks to me like he'd stopped at one of the towns en route and picked up a load of digging gear and a load of foodstuffs and such like. It was all a bit hodgepodge. And this fella with his donkeys, I could have clipped him. I tell you what, he was alright. He was just wheezing, and I tell you what, he just needed a clip round the ear and
wheezing.
Pull it. If he had, it just whinged. Honestly, just whinged. I mean, I don't want to talk bad about anybody, but it was just incessant. Oh my goodness, he hadn't done any work in his. I had not done an honest day's work in his life. It was. I mean, look at you. You two have got a couple of mattocks, haven't you? A proper implement, that is. I can see that they knows how to use it. But this guy, I don't know what Domi had him there for. I mean, he said he was a donkey whisperer, but I haven't heard anything that stupid in a long time. so you tell me. But it was just a whinge, and if it hadn't been for him, I'd have said to Domi, "Look, Master Domi, why don't you stay a little bit? Why don't you? We'll get some good toft wine in." I've heard it. It's pretty good stuff. And would make a proper session of it. I bet he'd have some tales to tell, and we could tell him some of our own, because we've got quite a bit of history here. And actually, as it happens, out in the East Pasture, there's some stuff I wouldn't mind knowing a little bit more about. I think it dates before Smaug, and we just don't really know what it is, if I'm honest. But anyway, but this
Well,
it was just whinging, and I couldn't put up with it, so I had to say, look, sorry, but you need to be on your way. And in fairness, he was on his way. Soon as sun hit top at like hills, he was out.
this is Domi and his party that they left early the following morning.
Aye, that's what eager. He says. He said something like, "Truth does not wait." No, that wasn't it. It was like truth. Oh, it was so profound. I wish I'd written it down. That would have required me to go and like learn how to write. No, not that one. That one's for Oh, bloody hell. They've only gone and done the bloody Westfield. You don't do the wet. No, the drainage is wrong. Anyway, sorry, my lord. Sorry, lords.
Yeah,
don't let it stop you. I'm sure you have a busy schedule ahead of you.
You can't bloody. They just come around. Just no, put it down. Stop it. I'll be 5 minutes. No, that doesn't mean stop doing everything. You keep on with it. Sorry, gents. Sorry.
Yeah, you're clearly very busy. It's hard work on working the land as well as you do. I'm just wondering if you might like to show us the ruins or the relics in the East Pasture briefly. Perhaps we can shed some light on it.
Oh well, if there once, aye. Not a problem. Let me deal with these pillocks, and then I'll be right back. Is that?
Oh,
sure.
Cool. Yeah, would you like to borrow my mattock?
No. I'm that's a mighty fine mattock. That is that. That looks like it's wow. That's some good dwarven work.
That could plough your field. That would.
You have a good eye for a mattock.
I tell you what, that's not for my hands. That's too lordly for me. Now, hold on, I'll be back in a few moments. Look, I've told you once, I've told you a dozen bloody times. Now, come on. You hear him remonstrating and, no, look, start over. Right, Cedric, no, just piss off. So, anyway, shall we head over to East Pasture, like?
If that's okay with you, if that's
aye. So, you know my name. I haven't picked up your names.
My apologies. I am Torg. I hail from the Grey Mountains, and I returned here to the foot of the Lonely Mountain to rejoin my people.
Oh, that's a bit good.
These are my companions. Loftar of the Iron Hills, and Sirk.
How do you do?
Who is, Sirk.
Well,
greetings.
I have to say, I've not been in such lordly company for a long while. Quick, let's get going before the missus sees, and then she'll chew your ear off, she will. Now, the East Pasture. Now, strangely, the East Pasture is actually to the west. It's just, I don't know. But there we have it. We've always known it as the East Pasture. It was the East Pasture when I was knee-high to a grasshopper, I'll tell you. And it was East Pasture when my grandfather, he was the first one to found these lands, died in the desolation, like quite a lot. But anyway, let's head on. Now, East Pasture's good marrow land. Not like the corn that we grow there. It's more kind of like squashes and that kind of thing. Of course, you got to rotate it around. We're not idiots up here. We might sound like country folk, but we know how to grow stuff. And it carries on in that vein for a while. It takes you across into what looks to be a field. Looks as if it's got some of these patches where the crops just won't grow. And they're fairly regular, so even without particular position of elevation, it looks as if there was some form of homestead here, kind of like before, and there's perhaps boundary stones beneath the ground, so the roots can't quite get down for the plants and whatnot. But there is what looks to be a mound of earth, kind of like just slightly a bit further away from that, and there are it's a little bit. Even the grass is really sparse. It's like really kind of like just patchy, and there's some like briars that are kind of like growing around it. Can't get bugger all to grow that's of any use back there. Only thing Crow Mound is good for is, well, bloody crows.
Is it well with you if I search the ground?
They can do what they please with a mattock like that. Well, I'm not going to stand in the way, am I? I mean, let's face it, mate.
Yeah,
It's a bit of a long walk over here. Actually, I might just tuck into me.
Take a seat. So I'd like to have a look around. I'd be surprised if Domi kind of passed this pasture and didn't at least observe it and take a passing interest in it.
Okay.
Priorities.
Yeah.
Maybe you didn't get told about the side quest.
Well, we
when
can have a
Cedric
quick
talked, if he had a chance, you suspect he probably did tell him.
Yeah, it seems like it. And
He's not. Domi's not a completionist. He doesn't have to do all the little dots on the map first before going on to the main story.
I think it's worth a quick look. I have 3 in search.
Yeah. Okay. So what is it that you're kind of like looking for in particular?
Well, I guess so. Crow's Mound sounds to me like it might be a cairn of some kind, and I'm less interested in the kind of the homestead, the kind of markings of where buildings lay and stuff. But potentially this if it's a cairn, it could be of interest in terms of the heritage of dwarven lineage. That would be specifically what I think Torg would be looking for.
Yeah. Okay,
he wouldn't
cool.
know enough about archaeology to have a specific technical thing in mind, but he's just thinking dead king, dead lord, something like that.
Yep. Okay. Give me a search roll.
Okay. Yeah, so 3 dice. A Tangua, 11, 18, great.
18, great. Okay, so you kind of start to you head across to the mound, which is maybe it rises about 6 foot and it's probably about 10 feet, kind of like circular. So it's quite a sharp promontory, really, and the parched nature of the earth and the fact that it's dead earth starts a little bit further away from it, and you can see that all that kind of like grows on this is like briars and brambles, and the top of the mound seems to be fairly rocky, and there's bird guardo on there as well, and a big crow. Oh, hold on, I said I was going to do an old woman crow impression. I think it was. Kind of comes down, kind of flaps off as you get in there. But with the success that you have, you kind of like get your mattock and tear out some of the stuff to kind of get into there. There's a sense of kind of like a little bit of kind of like age and a bit cold around this, and you can kind of feel a temperature change as you kind of go there, just a little bit, And you move around to the shaded side, and it gets quite cold. There's little bits of frost even just gathered on some of the them there. And it doesn't take you much in the way of kind of like digging at the earth to kind of get down to what does look to be stacked rocks, not particularly regularly cut, but definitely kind of like stacked in the way that you would stack a dry stone wall. Kind of like placed there. So you don't think it's dwarven because it's not a dwarven style of architecture, really. And it's not a common style of architecture, particularly either. And whatever the dirt has gathered over it over the years, it's certainly even, and maybe it was in place there to start with. And you kind of pull some of this out, and then as you kind of like moving through to see if this is how far it extends it back, there is a stone that is kind of been smoothed off, and it looks as if there's a faint markings of what would be a sigil or a identification marker or something of that like. So a shape of some kind.
Interesting. So I think at this point, Torg would call Sirk over, who's probably got more of a chance of making sense of some kind of sigil marking like that than me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Sirk, can you make sense of this?
Well, so could probably take a rubbing to see if he can kind of get the relief from the stone a bit more to actually then identify, and then take it back out into the daylight to identify.
Yeah, so you feel the cold as well, and the stone feels really cold, kind of, but that's not unusual for stuff that's been a little bit buried, and
Buried, cursed.
Oh, yeah, bit of A, bit of B, and you kind of like wipe it down, and then you get your rubbing and your etching, and it's fairly faint, so you surmise it's been buried for a while. You bring it out into the light. Do you want to give me a lore roll?
Yep. It's a 9, 10. 24, great success.
Okay.
I'd like to invoke old law to get my third bullet point.
Yeah, go for it. So you don't know. You think it's a coat of arms. The elements are consistent with that. You don't know whose coat of arms it is, but there are some stylistic elements of it, kind of calling upon some of the memory of and the work that you were doing with the heraldry people in Dale, kind of like a couple of summers ago, I think it was now. So you think that it is a intermediary lord. So they were a lord of the area, but they were a vassal of a more senior lord because of the way in which it's constructed, and some of the elements of the other signs that you've seen gathered around. The ones with the crosses for eyes. Those two sit as a primary element of the heraldic design. So you surmise that this was a vassal lord to whatever that more senior kind of crest was.
I'll have recounted that, but in a much longer, more drawn out tone.
So as you can see,
45 minutes to an hour lecture at least. Referencing back to all the previous times we found similar markings.
I can't tell if
building up to a conclusion.
Playing.
I think that's what would have happened.
Yeah. Bored, or whether it's actually frozen.
So we're looking at some stones then, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, is that all right, Loftar?
I'm just
trying to work out if that was Matt or
I'm just
Loftar.
Okay, we'll get on the case for some orc tracks.
Yeah,
as soon as possible.
I'll just clean my mattock in the meantime.
I think I followed what you were saying there, sir, but could you just repeat that for me again? From like when you said actually.
Actually, and I repeat.
Yeah, I missed all of it as well. So
the best part was you froze in a picture as if you'd gone glassy eyed, just staring during.
I was trying to work out
really
whether you were
thematically
really
appropriate.
fantastically role playing, kind of like Torg, feeling that this is I need to murder Sirk. This is so boring, or if you'd actually frozen.
Stony faced.
And that's why it's a coat of arms, but I don't know whose it is.
So what was the last thing that you got, Joe? Sorry.
Basically that it resonated with some of the stuff that Sirk was learning in Dale a couple of summers back, and that it was a medium kind of in terms of the hierarchy. It was a lord who was not so high up.
Yeah, who was a vassal lord to. So I think the thing then that you may have missed is that the primary lord, or at least the more senior lord, was the one whose sigils and signs you've seen a little bit a few times around with the crosses in the eyes and such like.
Okay, yeah. So do we want to leave this cairn alone, being as it's nothing to do with our heritage? Maybe tell Cedric the gist of it, see if that floats his boat at all. I feel like he's got other things to think about, really. But
that's pretty good to know. I say, I'll let the missus know that it's. So you say we weren't the primary, we weren't the top lord here. Is that what you're saying?
No, you would, but you would certainly.
This wasn't. You might have been, but this wasn't. You might have just buried one of your servants in the garden.
Oh.
I think what Sirk means to say, Cedric, is that your family has played a key role in this particular area for hundreds, if not thousands, of years, and that you may be of higher stock than you previously thought, and if this field could be perhaps unearthed some more, you might find further evidence of your clan's history.
Well,
and perhaps combined with the hospitality of your home and your good lady wife, you might find that visitors from far afield would come to see this.
Well, that's not something that he hears every day, is it? Now, I'm quite pleased. I'm having a moment. I'm just going to have to just take a little nip. So anyway, like,
I'll give him a copy of the rubbing in case he wants to make a sign for what's in there.
Oh, that's I tell this, it's my lucky day. And I thought to myself when I saw you coming up, I thought, that's some heavily armed dwarves they are. But the wisdom of the dwarves is well known because they live a long time, they do, and they know a lot more than we do because we don't live so long. And it's like when you're old and you know a lot of stuff, don't you? Because you've had more time, clearly, to kind of like, work out what's happening. So I tell you what, I'm gonna start excavating that pretty shortly. Hey, Sutton! Hey, who? Come over here. I've got some excavation to do. A couple of burly lads come up. We're gonna have to start working on this, like.
Come back.
What's that? Sorry, Sirk. I was too busy.
We're gonna come back this way, and they'll all be dead from barrow rights.
Don't know how it got unleashed. The curse upon the area.
We spread good fortune everywhere we pass. Cedric, I wish you luck in your venture, and I hope you discover incredible findings about your clan's history and this ancient place.
Well, I tell you, it's.
Yeah.
I am astounded. I tell you, I'm astounded. This
Yes.
is amazing. Is there anything that I can do to repay this? I mean, within the modest means that I have at my disposal, of course.
Keep spreading the word to all travellers who pass.
What word's that, Sirk?
The word of your history. Don't forget where you came from. It's important.
I tell you, that was the worst thing about the dragon is, well, a man's only as good as the earth he stands on, and we were on shitty earth, I gotta say. But now, look, this is proper ground with proper history. We've got roots down here. I mean, I thought it was a bad sign with all the brambles and the crows and the fact not to grow good from the earth. But you're telling me that it's worth looking into more now. I mean, what's not to like, eh?
Yeah.
You good, honest, upstanding dwarven folk.
Thank you. Your words mean a lot to us, and we wish greatly to find our friend Domi, and hopefully find him in good health. Can you tell us which direction he left, and did he say anything of his destination?
Well, excuse me.
It's that barrow light's affecting him already.
I've got a bit of ghoul fever. I'm gonna have to have a little nip. Torg. He went along the path that you're following, and he was heading towards the Grey Mountain Narrows. Now, he didn't say much about what he was going up there for. I said to him, they don't want to do that. There's nought up there but death. That's what's been said to us. But he said, no! He said, I've come this way before. So he's heading up that way, and he said that it was not going to be much more than a few days. He reckoned it was probably going to take him maybe 5 or 6 days with the donkeys. I said, leave the bloody donkeys, because you don't want that nether in your ear all the time, do you? And he said, I've got to have donkeys, because I can't carry all the stuff. So I said, well, I tell you, he was in a quandary. It's another big word, that, isn't it? Like quandary. Not my favourite word, though. My favourite word is defenestration, but the missus is quite a fan of haberdashery. But there we have it.
No. Sirk's glazed over now. Just like started tapping his foot. Just kind of, come on.
But he did say that he was hopeful that it was in these places, these parts, because otherwise, he said, he was having to look to go into the waste. He said he was not afraid of going to the waste if he had to go to the waste, but he'd prefer not to. And I said to him, well, why is he afraid of the waste? He said, bad things reside there. He said it used to be, and get this, used to be a resplendent. He said resplendent. I said, what's that mean? And he told me, so I've started to use it myself now. It's a bit good. He said resplendent is what it was. But now it's not much more than ash and evil creatures up there. But I'm sure that's not where you're headed.
Forgive me, because I'm unfamiliar with the detail of the area, but the waste is part of the Withered Heath.
Well, I mean, it might as well be, hasn't it? To be honest, I think. Well, the waste used to be part of the kingdom, but it's so close to the Withered Heath, and it got a rough end of Smaug, big time. And it's just, I can't see how King Bard's gonna reclaim it. Though he says it's his, and who's to say it isn't? But I just don't see.
Then there is hope. Well, we will follow the trail.
Aye,
and
aye.
We have much ground to make up.
I understand. Well, thank you very much. dwarven.
Thank you,
folk.
Cedric, for a very memorable side quest.
Ah, no, yeah. It's all good. It's all good. Now,
I-
Sutton,
I
come
hope
on,
that
we're gonna have a look at this thing. No, the crows, they're good. The crows, they're like, no, the brambles are just keeping away people that don't have the temerity to kind of like push on. You've got to show some resilience. And you
Farewell then, Cedric.
Aye.
Crows, bramble, nothing grows. Ominous sense of cold. Crack on.
No, there's no whites here. What are you on about?
Would we have an indication that it might be dodgy for them to be doing this?
I mean, what do you reckon?
Is there anything like rhymes of law? Would I know any rhymes about don't disturb the barrow because you'll end up in a farrow or something?
Don't disturb the barrow which lies near where you grow marrow, else else you might be carried away in a wheelbarrow. I think it's
There you go, something like that.
faster to let it roll. Have we lost Joe again?
Yeah, he didn't like the rhyming.
I don't blame him. It doesn't look like Matt liked it either. Matt.
I just Matt's play like role playing Loftar to the nth degree tonight.
Yeah, I think so. That's it. It's actually
Because
really.
It's okay. It's just this farmer guy's.
But yeah, could I use rhymes of law to make a roll to see if I know to warn them away from maybe disturbing the paths of the dead?
Yeah, okay, so you're going to invoke the trait to allow yourself to make a roll. Oh, it looks like Joe came back for a bit.
Yes.
Oh, in fact, Joe has come back.
He did. I just don't want to leave this Victoria Wood loquacious style farmer to die in a barrow because we've gone, yeah, go dig it up, it's grand.
Mm-hmm.
I think we should just move on.
I'm invoking my trait to see if I know not to tell him not to do it.
We haven't had any kind of, in terms of the mechanics, there's been no spider senses tingling or anything.
Ominous cold. I've spent a lot of time tunneling. I'd know whether it was natural. Or either. I can either say from my tunneling, did it feel like a normal underground cold? Or from rhymes of law, have I heard anything about not?
It's got all the hallmarks of not being a great place, but then it's inauspicious. I think is the best way to phrase it. It's inauspicious.
So can I make a roll or not?
Yeah, you can make a roll if you want. Yeah, make a law roll.
Too regular.
22 regular. So you think it's it's an inauspicious place, but there was nothing in there that indicated to you that it was anything more than being inauspicious. Really.
Right. In which case,
it was on the shaded side of the hills. If it was rocky, then it's not likely that any crops would grow there because they can't put down firm roots. And brambles and such like are known to be more resilient to that.
It's a nice perch for crows.
Yeah, but that being said, you're getting a view that it's possibly it could even just be because there may be in a battle there, and this isn't battle dead. Yeah, it's hard.
I will warn him more from a stance of the dangers of digging around in underground things from collapses and stuff.
I understand.
So if you're gonna do it, be careful. But it's not always wise to disturb these places.
You did say, yeah. I mean, you're famed for your mining, aren't you? You dwarves and that. So, I mean, I don't know of any places in Middle Earth that you guys have dug too deep in. So I'll take your word of advice and do what you would do. Aye.
Just don't feel free to revel in its presence, but not maybe delve into it.
Oh, we'll just be careful.
It's
We'll be
there.
careful.
It's there as something for you to talk about, but you don't necessarily have to go digging through it. Because the last thing I'd want was for you to be trapped underground.
Is your friend
Oh,
always
kill
this
fire.
excitable?
He does tend to go with his idea when he gets one.
I
So,
was thinking about that one.
Although he's
Oh
stones don't excite you, do they, Loftar?
no, just don't mind me. I'm just contemplating.
Thinking about killing orcs.
Contemplating. Now I've got to use that. I'm gonna have to think about how I can.
I'll write it
contemplate.
out phonetically for him.
Oh, right. That's a bit good, isn't it? Aye. Well, I'm going to contemplate the missus later and see what she thinks. Now, anyway, we better get on with adventure, aren't we? Right, goodbye
As well as
again.
expected.
Goodbye again. Because otherwise we'll have episode 19.
again,
It'll
and
just be
good
you
luck.
chatting to me, and it won't have much in the way of story beats in it at all.
We set that objective planning that it would easily get there in 4 days. We've been here 4 days talking to this man.
Three farmers later.
3 farmers
I
later.
suggest we
Subscriber
talk to
numbers
people more.
plummeting. But we get picked up by Farmers Weekly, and okay.
So,
Onwards.
what did we get out of that? Other than we got the detail of Domi's journey onwards. So
And
We know
also
we're about
that
3 weeks behind at the least.
And he had.
He's got humans with him.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's strange. Do we think it's strange he got humans with him?
I do
Or
think that's
man,
strange.
sorry.
So,
He probably wouldn't say humans.
men, and this
Men and the
character,
women men.
the donkey master.
Yeah, I wondered if maybe Domi's not necessarily in charge.
Do you think he's under duress?
Yes. I can't. Yes, you might need assistance in the digging and stuff when you got to a location, but why not hire dwarves?
And for whatever reason, this mithril shirt that he's seeking, these men of Dale that accompany him possibly seek to gain it for their own ends.
Yes, we already know of the intrigue that surrounds this, both in our own people and in those in Dale. So I would suggest the fact that he's been gone 3 weeks and still not found it either means his supposition on the location was incorrect and he did have to go into the wastes, or something untoward has happened when they found it. Either way,
Yeah,
I suggest we hurry.
We're having this conversation on the
Yeah.
go. I think that we've definitely got to pick up the pace.
Indeed. Maybe even if we do camp shorter nights, walk longer into the day and push on, set off earlier before the sun rises.
Yeah. Okay.
Is that after giving lectures? Then?
Yes, we're out of time for some reason.
Yeah, is
It's
that the
inexplicable.
time? Oh, the day's
It's
past.
because we were waiting around
It was
for you,
interesting.
Loftar.
I'm all ears for that. Yeah.
Okay, so you kind of press on with a renewed sense of urgency. So let's have another fatigue test from everybody, please, which I think is a travel roll.
Okay.
I was like, I can't remember what a fatigue test
Three.
is.
I can barely remember what any of the tests are. But anything else.
15.
21 regular.
I'm going to spend a point of hope because I'm close and I don't want to get tired too early. One of those
Okay.
sidebar ones will be good.
The fellowship.
So I've got success.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
please.
So you kind of like press on, and I try to find my rule book. So you press on, kind of like moving and continuing. Oh, don't do this to me, honestly. It's not that hard. That's better. And the kind of like the Northern Dale lands, as you start to move and push on through, the prosperity and the kind of like cultivation of the Dale lands, of the Northern Dale lands, starts to reduce slightly. So there's less dense crops. There's more wild kind of like meadowland or what have you. The copses that were farmed for charcoal and such like are starting to become more overgrown, more wild as you kind of come, and you're getting much more close to the Grey Mountains. So you can start to smell and feel a little bit of the acridness. Certainly when the wind blows down, it carries kind of a little bit of grit in it that kind of settles and rests on you. And you're getting forced as the forest of Mirkwood kind of like grows further into the gap. But you kind of keep moving on. The weather still holds out, and you come into the end of the third day, and you kind of coming through now into away from the cultivated lands. There's no one area where you cross a line. It's kind of like now you're off into the wildlands. But you do naturally start to take a little bit more caution. Loftar seems to have got his mattock in his hand, kind of like all of a sudden, just by habit, more than anything else, and the whole group just quietens down a little bit as you feel and sense you're moving to wilderness. The path kind of became overgrown and turned into away from kind of like a cart path to a trail, more than anything else. And at some point you pass the last hamlet of the Dale lands. You wouldn't necessarily know exactly where, but there isn't smoke rising from chimneys out here. And there's the grey wall of the snow-capped mountains to the north, and they're quite dense but green forest to the south. And as you're kind of like moving down, it's starting to come a little bit later than you would have normally let yourself move on. You're eking out the last of the sunlight before you decide to make camp. Who's the scout? Sorry.
Is scout? Is there search?
I think that might be me. Was I scout and whatever the other one is, the guide? Because I'd done the map reading first and I'd done all the plotting, wasn't I?
You can only be one role.
Yeah.
I thought you could be multiple.
Yeah.
No, you can have more than one of every role except guide.
Ah, right. I'll be guide. Well, I'll bring the guide then.
I mean, I've got Searcher 3, so but there's not always necessarily a scout though. You don't have to have one of everything.
Yeah, I'm good with search as well, so I could.
Yeah, I've got Searcher 4 and favoured, but
yeah, lookout is.
Yeah. So in any case, let's just say that Loftar, you pick up on a fire to the south of the path as you're pushing on, and you think you can hear the howling of wolves.
Hey lads, there's some action. There's some trouble brewing.
let's try and avoid it and sneak round it then and not get engaged.
Should we investigate? I can hear some wolves.
What direction?
To the south.
Coming from Mirkwood? I've heard of fell beasts in that forest.
Mirkwood is to the south, yes. You don't think, Loftar, that it is as close as Mirkwood. As far as Mirkwood, sorry. You think it's closer than the edge of the forest.
Yeah, it's not that far away. it could be coming this way. But
Well, would we not be wise just to press on and skirt the issue then? We don't want anything else to particularly delay us.
that
We
sounds
may
like
not
a
be able
sound.
to avoid it. Are they
Exactly.
coming? Are these noises coming towards us, Loftar?
Can I just do any sort of roll or try and
You don't need to roll.
Do it.
So you don't think that they are coming kind of like closer to you, but they're in amongst the sound of the wolves. You think that there are screams of help, help! Fuck, God, get
I thought it was like a raiding
Again,
party.
does it sound like
Penelope pit stop.
does it sound like humans asking for help?
help me! You
It's
would,
old lady number 3, I think, guys. We need to.
Penelope pit stop knew it under herself.
You wouldn't know whether it's kind of like human or not. They're talking in the common speech, for what it's worth. Westron.
Well, I'm not sure what's happening, but it sounds like there's someone could be in trouble. So maybe we can investigate. Maybe that's just another pile of stones that we can talk about. That's fine.
Yes, another diversion.
Yeah,
You take us on.
someone's taking us for a ride. I think. Yeah. Hang on.
It was Torg took us to the pile of stones. Don't be blaming me. I just told you what they were.
It could be someone who could help us on our quest.
They're going to be a hindrance.
Let us
but
investigate.
fine, let's go. If
Yeah, we'll
Domi's
take the
dead
bait.
by a day, it's your guys' fault.
You're the one who went back to tell the farmer to be careful.
Yeah. Did you want him dead with a barrow white haunting the grounds?
After the lecture, of course.
He's lived a long, full life.
No,
No,
but
but
we
I
have
think-
to come back this way. I don't want to fight a barrow white on the way back either.
I mean, I guess Sirk
Well, we
makes
may
a
not
good
make
point.
it back.
We don't want to delay. However, if there's, do we think there's a possibility that someone is in harm's way? Can we let them as?
You think that is the case, Loftar? Yes.
Yeah. So I
Fine,
don't think we
let's
can.
go.
Help! Help!
I take out my detective. I take my detective hat out, put it on, and
You're a deer stalker.
yeah, just
It's a wolf that you need to stalk. You need one of them.
let's have a
wolf
look what's
stalker.
happening.
Okay. So it's starting to get darker, and you can now see kind of like the fire, which is moving around a little bit and seems to be lit. A lone, fairly barren tree. And as you kind of like start to move down there a little bit, you can see that there are 6 wolves circling around this tree, and this figure is on one of the lower branches, got a burning brand, pre-errata, and he's kind of like using it to defend against the shadow attacks of the wolves.
Have they not set fire to pine cones and thrown them at the said wolves yet?
They have not yet, but that's
They haven't leveled up.
It's
yet.
on the plan. It's on the plan. It's on the road map. They've got it road mapped.
Yeah. We're just going to wait for the pine cones to grow on this tree.
Do you have any?
Broadly, what
Sorry, just
culture are these people? Sorry.
So there's one person, and you think that it's a human.
Okay.
Leave them to it. Crack on back on our trail.
I'm just looking for a projectile to pick up, throw in general direction.
Yeah, you
Of
can grab
said
a
wolves.
stone. Yeah, grab a stone.
Yeah.
So what's the plan, guys? It doesn't
Let's
look like
kill
wolves
some
have
wolves.
seen you yet.
We want to scare them. I guess scare them off. That's the easiest way, just to scare them off. So
Can I have a quick look around to see if there's any additional wolves that we haven't noticed yet, other than the ones that are harassing the person on the tree?
Yeah, okay, make an awareness check.
I love those. I have Sauron.
A Gandalf
I have
Are we all doing
Sauron.
that?
for a total of whatever. Gandalf plus 6.
So Loftar, you don't see anything. You got an eye of Sauron, and that is an eye of Sauron.
He's a
And,
flaming red eye. Didn't notice anything else.
Sirk, you are comfortable that there are no more wolves around than the ones that you can kind of see.
It's like just these 6. Let's go. And we'll run in. I'll run in.
Okay.
So I'll just throw,
Draw the sword.
get them. I mean, we can surprise them, so I guess. But
Are you just racing in, hollering war cries? You're going to try and sneak on them? What's the plan?
There's no stealth in Torg's repertoire,
I've got the zeros.
Yeah.
I've drawn my sword and I'm like, ah!
Repertoire's a good
He's
word
already.
after.
You're out of
He's
earshot.
still here.
I'm thumbing my mattock in the meantime while these guys are using awareness. I'm already getting ready for the charge.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Like kicking your foot like a bull.
Okay. So as you kind of like are racing down, kind of the wolves see that you're there. So we'll not have any surprise or anything like that. You're attacking them. So they will have initiative. Which means that they go first. So you make a battle roll against 18 because they have the advantage.
Oh, good.
Quite understood why if we're attacking them, they get the initiative. It's always seemed an odd rule to me.
They see us coming, so they prepare their their formation.
3. I'm not about the battle.
What's that? 8, 12, 15.
Okay.
I've got. Oh, okay. Sorry, 24 great success.
So you get 2 success dice for this
Excellent.
combat.
Are these shareable amongst my compadres?
Yeah, you can pass one across. As in one at a time. So what you kind of assess the scene, Loftar, with your battle scanner, and you can kind of you realise that with Torg and Sirk's noise, if you just kind of like move around to the side, then you'll come at them from a flank. And what I think we should start to do is, if you're going to use one of the success dice, kind of like try to narrate in the fiction what it is that's giving you the success dice, the additional chance to roll. That just kind of like help make combat a bit more interesting and such, right?
I think in this situation, I'll probably try and spot a leader or a weaker one, just to try and shed their numbers a little bit on that flank.
One or the
situation.
other. I either want the strongest or the weakest. None of those medium wolves.
So you kind of like run a quick max wolf strength, store that variable. Min wolf strength, store that variable.
Yeah, it's kind of like, if I can see a distinctive leader, I'll probably go for that. That's kind of so.
Okay. None of them are wearing crowns.
It's all right because he's got like that Terminator vision where their stats are just running down the side of the screen.
Yeah, that's right.
Is there one who's got epaulettes or something?
I think I just sort of,
a couple of stripes.
I think just kind of in a sort of simple way, I've killed thousands of wolves, or maybe not thousands, but hundreds.
One at the back pointing.
Kind of.
Two seconds.
One of them is either a doorman at a really swanky restaurant or a general in like the Italian army or something.
Carabinieri.
Yeah, that's right.
Right. Well, let's just play into. I think if the way that wolves work, if you kill a couple of them, they're going to scamper off.
Yeah.
And we tend to deal a lot of damage when we hit. So let's not overthink it. We charge at the walls, smash them.
I've got a battle of 0. I'm not overthinking anything. I'm just going in and hitting them with a sword. There's no tactics.
Okay. Opening volleys. And Loftar, you did say you were going to pick up like a rock.
Well, that was before, but I can't really throw stuff, so I would rather just attack since we're all attacking.
Yeah, okay, so Loftar drops the rock and just charges in, so there are no opening volleys. The wolves are not armed with spears or rockets.
Loftar's not excited by stones.
I don't think I can use them really because I'll probably hit the little guy on the tree.
So we
And that'll have more trouble.
proceed to close quarters. So you guys choose a stance. So if you give me a stance, please.
Forward.
So
All of the forwards.
Torg is forward. Sirk is forward. Loftar?
Yes,
Forward
happy to
stance.
be forward.
Throw
the rock.
Okay.
Get out of here, you pesky wolves!
So
Get off my lawn.
and 6. Okay. So they kind of like the first wolf. So there's a couple of wolves each as you kind of like bound into the pack, and they kind of like see a couple of them turn to kind of like engage you. Oh, thank you so much. It's coming from up there.
Don't thank us yet.
Oh, thanks.
That sounds ominous. We're
So I
only
should say-
saving you to
Sorry,
kill you and rape you.
I should change my. Don't thank us yet, son.
It's even more ominous.
Yeah, so we're big dwarves. I mean, not in height, but in spirit and weaponry and.
We're big dwarves. It's the best line ever.
Okay. So, what's your parry, Torg?
4.
4. The first one snaps at you, biting into you, and does some damage. Oh, okay, sorry. Does 3 endurance damage to you as it kind of like grabs at you, kind of like center of your body.
On the arm.
Yeah, on the arm. Yeah, try to pull you down so that your second one can go. Ooh, that one is a great success. That's not going to hurt. I mean, it is going to hurt. In fact, that's exactly what it's going to do.
It's not going to hurt me.
Jesus, it's so long that damage. Yeah, okay.
We haven't fought over for a while, have we?
No, well, we have had. I think this is like the third combat we've had. So that does. It really kind of like grabs into you and does 6 endurance. As the one was pulling you down with the arm, this one kind of like comes in and starts to chomp down at your neck as you're kind of like held down a little bit. Onto
Right.
Sirk, what's your parry rating, Sirk?
Okay, so that's a total of 9.
Yep.
7.
Oh.
7, 13. This one kind of like comes at you, but just kind of like can't quite get where it wants to get. The second
Actually,
one
my shield.
really kind of like hits. That is in fact a edge. So you need to make a protection test against 14. Have I got that right?
What protection? How do we do that? I don't know. I think I've ever had to do that.
Armor.
So my armor is 4d plus 4.
Yep. So you roll that against the target number 14.
So is that 4 dice plus 4?
Yep. Plus 4.
Is that what, and it's the d6s, is it?
Yep.
Absolutely. You always want to use protection,
Oh,
Sirk.
You do get your feet die as well, though.
Yeah.
Oh. I'll say that seems all right. 7, 10, 12 plus 4, 16.
Okay, that passes. So it kind of like smashes
done that
into you,
before.
kind of really trying to grab up at your kind of throat. You do take 6 points of endurance, though. And then
These
in a
wolves
classic
are-
sharp type voice.
Loftar.
Bastard. Sean Bean's though.
What's your parry, Loftar?
Oh, I have a very high parry for a dwarf of 4.
11. you take 3 endurance as the first one kind of comes in and grabs you quite low down on the leg. And then the second one, so it rolled a Gandalf.
Get
so
off me, you
it
filthy
does not
beast.
hit you.
Mm.
Okay, so it comes around to your turn, guys.
Okay.
So let's
Who's got
play
the
that
highest?
again.
Who's got the highest wits? Mine is 4.
6.
Highest wits.
Wits.
Sirk has the highest
6.
wits.
I'm just medium witty guy. And my witty wits are 4.
Neither. Yeah, I'll just swing at it with my short sword.
Okay.
Just some casual swinging.
17, great success.
17, great. So that's gonna hit.
Five.
Yeah, it will hit.
Yep, so that'll be 5. That'll be 11 damage.
11 endurance. Okay. It's really kind of like quite bloody from you got quite a good stab into it. It kind of hasn't collapsed in a heap, but it's pretty kind of like clearly damaged as you got quite a good hit at it. Torg and Loftar, you have the same wits, so I'll let you choose which one goes next.
Go on,
After
Loftar.
you, sir. You know, feel free to
Okay.
mattock
No,
away.
sir, after you. No, sir, after you. The wolves have
Oh
eaten.
no.
I insist you should mattock away.
I'm quite badly wounded. I would appreciate a breather.
All right.
No,
Fair enough.
I want to target the one that did 6 points of endurance to me, which is the second one. I'm going to swing one-handed. I think Torg has a flesh wound, a pretty bad tear on one arm, so he's maybe holding himself slightly in shock, swinging a little bit wildly.
You got to spend that target luck, Joe. Sorry, Torg.
Oh no, it's not good. It's not good. That is 13. I'll spend a point of hope.
A 13 would hit without the hope.
13 hit.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, fine.
Because you're in forward stance.
And my grief. Okay, yeah. Oh, that's the benefit. My grievous mattock does 10 points of damage.
Smashes into it. You kind of like it tumbles away as you kind of like get it on the uplift. It kind of like took quite you. The end of your mattock's got bits of wolf fur and kind of like flesh, kind of like hanging onto it. Loftar.
Okay. I will pick one of those ones I parked previously, so I will use an extra die for this.
So,
Because,
what
as I
is
said,
it that's
I've
giving you
marked
the
the leader.
advantage? If you could, you in the fiction describe how you're gaining that advantage.
Okay. No, I've spotted the one I have my target lock on. Has a little sort of slight limp, so I'm going to aim at that sort of like his sort of back leg there, trying to sort of, if I can't smash him in half, really, just sort of make him immobile a little bit more, trying to sort of wound him.
Yeah.
That's after scanning the territory. So there you go. That could be better. Yeah. Okay. No, actually, that's good. 18, and I've got a great success there. So you take that, you filthy wolf.
That hurts. Yeah.
Is that a double there?
Yes. So you had your damage rating to it.
Okay. So that's 15 for that particular wolf.
15.
Yep.
You kind of smash into it with your mattock, whereas Torg got quite a hefty hit. You kind of got quite a hefty hit, but right on the skull of it as you smash down,
Oops.
down into the ground.
Nice. I like that.
Okay. So there's one on you, Loftar. The one that you've bashed away, Torg, is kind of like not quite willing to get into the fight. And similarly with the one that you kind of really put quite a wound into, Sirk, they're just circling back and around. So there's only one on each of you now. They're kind of like just recovering themselves slightly. So does anybody want to change stance?
I will switch to open, actually.
Okay.
If anything, I want to get more forward.
Forwarder.
Yeah,
I'm
Forwarder.
Forwardist. I'm the forwardist.
the strength of Torg's attack kind of opened up the wound in his arm slightly. It's starting to bleed quite profusely, so he's backing off ever so slightly.
Okay, so the one that's on Sirk, kind of.
I'm happy. Sorry, then, Paul. I'll maybe back out a little bit as well. Sirk can handle himself, so I'll just back out to hold line with Torg. Then
So you're moving to an open stance.
Yeah, because I can still swing a mattock or two.
Okay, so the one that's on you, kind of like
a mattock or two, son.
Sirk, hit. What's your parry?
7.
7, so that'd be 13. So it smashes into you, kind of bounds, grabs hold of you, grabs onto your leg. So it does 6 endurance damage to you, and then starts to pull at you, kind of like dragging you down.
There they go.
So it's... Sorry?
Weary when you're below your fatigue, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that means you're 1 to 3.
1, 2s, and 3s don't do nout.
Yes.
I was doing all right until Loftar decided to abandon me in the pack of wolves.
It's choices that we make. Yeah. He thinks I'm retreating now. You see.
You are,
but I'm
advancing towards the rear.
No, I'm just placing myself at the more strategic positions at the rear.
And this wolf circus is locked onto your leg, and it's starting to pull you down. So it seized you, and it reduces your mobility. So you can't change stance, and your parry ratings is reduced to half.
Wow.
You can free yourself.
3.5.
You can free. No, it's reduced by half. It says reduced to half, but I think it should say reduced by half. Round fractions up. You can forfeit your attack and roll athletics against 10 plus against 13, not 10 plus 13, but against 13 to free yourself.
I've no dice in athletics. I would just try and stab it when it gets to my turn.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So it did that with its 8. Okay, so then the one that is on you, Torg, and you're in open, so it's 9 plus something.
9 plus 4.
9 plus 4, 13. That is fortunate. It kind of like snaps at you, but you kind of like manage to back it away. And then similar with the open stance is clearly the stance to be in, as the one that kind of like is fighting against Loftar kind of like ducks, backs away a little bit, and springs quickly forward, but Loftar's ready for it and kind of like manages to kind of bat it back a little bit before it can kind of get a proper strike in. Sirk.
Let us finish them.
Yep. I will swing at the one that's grabbing me leg. Smacking the fuck out of it. 25, great success.
That'll do it.
I rolled a 10, a 4, a 5, and a 6. So that'd be 11 damage again. 11 damage.
it starts to kind of like, you get another really great slice across with your short sword. It's just more a stabbing thing, isn't it? So it's kind of like on your legs. So you're really kind of like really going down onto it.
It's quite handy. The short sword actually is an advantage at really close range.
Yeah,
because I can still get the thrust in rather than having to try and swing anything.
What can I say? It really fluffed its battle roll to understand what tactics it should use in this combat. It kind of like. And kind of as you're stabbing repeatedly and crimson kind of like blood starting to kind of like pour up out of it. Torg or Loftar?
I'll let you go, Torg. Do you want to have a die? I can give you one of those die.
Is it okay? That'd be nice.
Oh,
Yeah,
he gives success die to the person in defensive stance who isn't on the floor with a wolf.
I'm not on it.
It's been remembered.
Why is he in defense? No one's. Is it?
It's an
We
open
don't have
stance,
anyone
it's
in
an open
defense.
stance.
Open stance, whatever.
Yeah. This is the stance you move into when you've had a big chunk of your arm taken out of it. Okay, so the battle die.
You take the battle die.
I'm guessing that Loftar kind of faints or something, faints towards the wolf that I'm engaged with, and kind of momentarily distracts the wolf so that it kind of flinches briefly, opening up an opportunity for me to swing one-handed again with 4 dice. And we've got no Tengwas. What a shame. So 6, 10, 15, 17. Normal success. And that will do 10 damage.
Again, kind of a really solid clunk to the side of it. It kind of like shakes itself. You kind of like hit it, kind of like where the jaw, where the head and the kind of like body hit, kind of come underneath. So kind of lifted it up. You hear the snapping of the jaw as it kind of moves back and its neck cracks. Like rolls, kind of like picks itself up, starts to shake itself down. Good it!
Excellent.
Is the sound from above. And then Loftar.
I hope you're a healer.
So
do I!
I've decided to change my tack, and I will because I'm in open stance. I'm going to forfeit my action to attack and rally comrades. It seems like the right thing to do. And here goes nothing.
Okay, so you're going to rally comrades.
Well, I've looked at my D6s and it's like 1 and a 2. What's the target? Is it 14 or is it sort of varied? Are we looking 14?
Remember, even though I used to use this combat action.
You used to get it for free, though, didn't you, or something?
I'm in the book,
if I was in
but
forward
it just
stance.
doesn't say in the book.
Bits of Cake wants to know, as pointed out, that there's the chunk of arm stance now.
Yeah.
It's the new open stance.
That's actually what it's going to be called in second edition.
I moved to chunk of arm stance.
It's a bit like that with this arm just pointing straight down.
It's that is. We'll get on the dog and bone to Francesco and let him know. Maybe you need to. I'd like to see how
we've had some feedback.
Sorry guys, I should know this because I did used to use it all the time.
You can just say that it's because we're such good fighters and the difficulty's not as hard. And if you give us 12, I'll take it.
So it's based on the quality of the success. You need to get right. Okay, yeah. So it's just a normal one against 14.
Yeah, that's right. There's 14. Okay, so I still need to spend a stupid point of fellowship. So I'll spend that.
Okay.
I was hoping for some success, but so it's 2 endurance points each. We recover 2 endurance points each.
Oh, that's nice. That is timely.
So describe to us how you rally your comrades.
Regrow that arm.
Are you using inspire or song?
Yes, sorry. I was using inspire. Inspire because if I then spend my point of hope, that's a favored, so I can really boost it up, even if my roll was subpar. Come on, lads, let's have them. We shall have a cold beer soon. in a tavern that's probably so far away we'll probably never know. But yeah, let's dispatch these wolves. Get rid of them.
Somehow it works. I mean, you feel inspired.
I feel better.
Loftar just usually wings it. So.
Okay. Anything else, Loftar?
No, I can't do anything else. So I'm just shouting at my comrades and trying to scare the wolves at the same time. Yeah.
Get up, you wuss.
Okay.
Stop bleeding, you wuss.
Okay. So the wolves are starting to leg it. Kind of like a lot of them are quite heavily injured. The ones that you haven't yet hit kind of like are ready for a go, but they see the rest of the pack head off, and they kind of like turn tail and kind of go, oh, thank you so much. Oh, I'm sorry. I need some moments to recover.
Are you wounded?
No,
Are you wounded?
I'm just short of breath. I get short of breath sometimes. I think we need to take a break. I think the whole stream needs to take a bit of a break, actually, right there. So let's take 10.
Let's repair that broken fourth wall.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll take a break for 10 minutes. Shall we be back at 10 o'clock?
Yep.
10 o'clock, pick it up from there. And I guess this gives our viewers a chance to take a break as well.
Bits of Cake must be gasping for a beer because there's not been any Hobbit interruptions.
Yeah, no, actually, I must go and find out where he is.
He's still outside trying to get in, pressing that doorbell.
Yeah, that's right.
Andy's just disconnected it from the inside.
Just turn it off.
It's curled up in the doorway.
Fair enough. Okay, cool. See you in 10.
Cheers.
Just guys.
Sorry.